Hello and welcome back to the Father and Son Pastime podcast. Dad, we're doing a very special, obviously extended edition of the trade deadline. That's my dad again, folks. Give him a virtual round of applause. Sorry, Dad. Go ahead. We're having fun, guys. We're an hour and a half into this night. We're going to be next week. We'll be giving you trade reactions and thoughts to everything that's about to happen. Dad, how excited are you?
Extremely. I think come Sunday night we'll start the fun, and I'm thinking Tuesday will be a really fun day for baseball fans. Last year it wasn't, crazy, and then the year before was Soto. I think this year volume will be very high because there's so many teams in a wild card hunt. I really think there'll be more trades this year than last year and surprises along the way.
I'm hopeful for a fun deadline. I think my dad might be more optimistic than I. But yeah, we'll see what happens. In a way, I would love for everything I'm about to say to be wrong, because then it's fun and it's silly and all that good stuff. Dad, this is our trade prediction episode. Now, we used to really go like team by team, player by player, minutia by minutia, all these relief pitchers. Where's Andrew, this guy going to?
Dylan Floro.
Where's Derek Law going to? And for some of you liked it. Some of you, it was a long episode. So we're going to try to be a little bit more compact. We've selected 10 trades that we have conviction and that we're confident in. We're going to make this a little bit of a game between us. It's a pseudo draft, if you will. We could totally choose the same player. If you choose Garrett Crochet and I choose Garrett Crochet, and we both think to the Cleveland Guardians for some reason, that's fine. We can both earn points. Nothing cancels out, nothing like that. Nothing's unavailable to us. If that player gets traded out of our selection, we get 2 points. So selecting probable trade candidates makes sense, and hopefully it makes your viewership worth it. And then if we get the actual team out of, in theory, 29 other teams, we get plus 5 points. It's not really 29, obviously, but it could be. So calling that exact landing spot is really challenging and therefore worth more points. So a possible 7-point transaction for each guess. We got 10 of those. And then whoever has the most points at the end of the trade deadline wins. We'll recap with you the next day to see who guessed more. It probably is going to be like a 7-5 score, but who knows?
Let's do this. Let's bet lunch.
Lunch? Lunch it is at the ballpark on the 31st?
Yeah, that would be great.
We didn't take off the 30th this year. Again, 31st could have been the deadline. We took that off. We're going to see a day baseball game, so
yeah.
Sure. Loser buys lunch then?
Loser buys lunch. Yes,
okay.
yes.
So
the victor goes the spoils.
Which could be a hot dog, but yes.
For him.
It is. I do like a hot dog. Again, we're going to ping pong. It doesn't matter who goes first. My dad doesn't get to draw king again. If you're familiar with our shtick at this point. Dad, I will see to you. Do you have anything else to add to the people? I have one more thing, but do you have anything?
Go for it.
No, I just remember that we just talked before we did this. We're going to do a wild card at the end where we don't have conviction of this. It'll be just the last flyover pick. We think Juan Soto gets traded to the Dodgers or something like that. And if that exact situation happens, we get a +3. Mm-hmm. So something like that, just to root for some true randomness that we're like, that was like a 1% chance of happening. Are you serious? Oh my God, I called it. Probably won't work out for both of us, but it gives us something to root for on trade deadline day.
Yes.
Do you have anything now?
No, I think you covered it.
First time doing it this way. Sorry for the redundancy, but I like to be clear. I hope you all enjoy it. And again, please let us know in the comments if you like this year better than our previous years. Dad, make a splash. Call somebody getting traded, and where are they going?
Cody Bellinger,
okay,
who's coming back from the injured list, will go to the Yankees in a big trade, and I'm thinking it's going to be a multiplayer trade, but I'll stick with Cody Bellinger to the Yankees.
To play first base?
Or outfield.
I guess
a little of both. He is a dual position player.
You're right. I think would be phenomenal for the Yankees. Would make him the World Series favorite, ALCS favorite, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, hidden behind Judge.
Yeah, or wherever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bellinger's obviously having a down year this year compared to last year. An average year for a player. Has great upside. If he gets traded, I do think he will. I'm very curious to see the trade package. I did not choose him for my top 10 because I think a lot of people will be in on him. If I had to, I would choose the Houston Astros. So very Astros, Yankees, who bids more type of thing. I do think the Yankees could bid more, but who knows?
Yankee Stadium's a nice fit for Cody.
I agree. If they get Cody, it is a true sign that they're going to get 4 or 5 other players. They're not just going to get Cody Bellinger.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Dad, react to this. Luis Robert to the Phillies.
Son of a gun. I love that. I have him being traded as well for another team.
Yep.
But boy, would he add a little spark to that lineup.
I have, now not that I chose all this, but I think it would be a package. I'm just going to actually, why not? So we say it on air. The Phillies have a lot of pitching, and the White Sox need controllable pitching arms. Mick Abel and Andrew Painter, I know Andrew Painter's injured right now. They're top prospects for them. Philly has a great rotation for years. I think they're going to put Abel, Painter, maybe some other pieces together for not only Lou Bob, because that's who he's going to be called in Philly, Michael Kopech. So I think they get that 8th, 9th inning guy too. Kopech is not one of my top 10 picks. I was just saying I'm more confident at least getting Lou Bob than we haven't seen a lot of packages, deep packages lately. So Lou Bob is my pick to the Phillies. Do you want to say where you think Lou Bob's going to, and then that can be your number 2?
Surely. I have him going to Seattle.
Keep talking. I want to listen.
I think he doesn't have to play center field. He can play left or right. Seattle needs a spark. The GM is crazy enough to make a splash. They have some young talent. I think he would fit really well Seattle. Give them that spark, 3, 4, 5 in that lineup. They need that spark, and I think he wants out of Chicago real bad.
Who doesn't? The White Sox, at least. So I think both of us have the same logic with Lou Bob, that pitching is what's going to be asked for by the White Sox. Controllable arms from Seattle. They have depth in pitching, up-and-coming prospects that have a high ceiling for the Phillies.
Yeah.
So if your team is also interested in Luis Robert, I don't see, maybe. I know the Orioles are connected, but they have a lot of outfielders. They don't have, in my opinion, the pitching talent that the Mariners or Phillies do have. They have other talent, but I don't think the pitching talent, if that is truly what White Sox need.
That will give him a breath of fresh air, and I think he would thrive getting out of Comiskey.
I think he would hit more home runs. Not that he has a say in this, but I think he'd hit more home runs in Philly.
Yeah. He has talent.
And I don't know. Yeah, I think he does have talent. You're absolutely right. La Pantera. Would be really fun for Philly, but yes. Okay, I'm curious, would you like me to say who my Mariners edition, because I like that, or just go next to the big hitter?
You do whatever you want.
I know, but I'm going on you. I like talking about the Mariners, so I'm going to choose the Mariners next.
Sure.
Brandon Lau to the Mariners.
Okay.
Brandon Lau, Maryland guy, College Park guy. I have the Rays selling. I have the Rays selling a lot of notable pieces. One of those pieces is a needed second baseman with some pop. I mean, this guy hit, 40 home runs in the past, a couple years ago. I have a direct trade, ready. Not all these are going to be super predicted. But Emerson Hancock is that 5th, 6th man out in Seattle. And Tampa Bay will turn him into a phenomenal starter, just like they do everyone.
Yeah, that's a great trade.
I think it's there. If that's not even in your mind, I can even see Tampa Bay adding player to be named later or something like that to make it worth their while.
Yeah. Good, and again, a little spark of enthusiasm, a little left-handed pop. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, then the next one is going to be near and dear to your heart.
Okay.
Jameson. Why do I show up for these podcasts?
Well, no, you give me a hint. I'm excited. Okay. This is a very exciting podcast.
Jameson Taillon to the Red Sox.
Tell me more.
I think, you got Craig Breslow, who was the head of pitching at the Cubs, just a new GM of the Red Sox. He knows the Cubs system very well. I think Jameson, he's under 3 now for an ERA, will come in and probably be the 3 starter in Boston. I think he's a perfect fit. Breslow will always, keep them, tight and everything else. I think he would be what they need in Boston to come 3, 4, 5 starter, probably over 3. He would add to that, the pitching repertoire that they have. I think that's a great trade for Boston, and Breslow, I think, will rob the Cubs of some talent.
Jameson has some years of control. Not control. He has years
2
left
more
on
years.
his contract. Yeah.
2 more years.
Okay. I don't hate that, obviously. Jameson Taillon is not one of my top 10. I thought if I had to bet on every single person, Pittsburgh reunion. But I appreciate him coming to Boston. Dad, I want to strip the Rays of everything they have. Randy Arozarena to the Braves.
You know what? I thought that was God bless you. That's a great prediction. I think Tampa Bay is going to lose everything they have. Oh, he goes to Atlanta. Atlanta becomes a really formidable force.
He's controllable for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer Marcell Ozuna's contract. I know everyone's like a long contract there. Who knows if Jared Kelenic... I mean, I could honestly see Jared Kelenic in the flip. The Braves are crazy enough. That is that statement piece. That is that... Well, Michael Harris is having a down year. He's been injured. Acuna's out for the year. Well, we got a similar level guy. I know Randy Arozarena is having a down year as well, but he's still Randy Arozarena, the playoff leader in hits, stole home in the playoffs. He is that personality that under the right coaching is phenomenal
and a fan favorite.
Yeah. So I love that. I think I believe it a little too much. I don't know how much logic is behind there, but the Braves have depth. They'll trade whoever. I'd really like. I've contacted so far Phillies, Braves, Mariners, 3 GMs that I think are nuts and they have to do something. So yeah, I just feel that why not send everyone on my list to those teams because they got to get somebody.
That's a great. If that happens, that's a great trade. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna stay with the Red Sox because I'm gonna help that team much as I can. This doesn't gonna have a great return. Brandon Rogers from the Rockies to the Red Sox.
I've learned every trade deadline. Don't even look at the Rockies. They don't trade at the right times. I would love to get him. He had a lot when he was with the Hartford. Something they got like a goat as a mascot. I'm blanking.
Yard goats.
Yeah, yard goats. He loved his time in New England, so that's awesome. I don't know if that'll happen because the Rockies don't make logical moves or things that make sense. I'd love that for me.
Yeah, that fits a lot.
And then we get Rogers and Story in the middle infield for I don't know how many games Story will play in the next decade, but
in his great years, he was
he's still young.
Correct. But he was, I think, a 3rd overall pick in the draft, a while ago, and he has a little pop. Defensively, he's excellent. So I'm thinking he fills a hole for the Red Sox, and he wouldn't cost that much.
I don't know. Who knows what it could cost?
Yeah.
It's the Rockies. It could cost a AA player. It could cost Marcelo Mayer. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Dad, I have a Red Sox pick, but I'm going to wait on that. I know I'm in Royals blue, but I'm going to talk about a different blue. It's Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers.
No way!
Is that one of your top 10, though?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You have some stuff circled.
There's my talking points.
Oh, okay. Well, then...
Unbelievable!
It just makes sense. It's a rental. He's having a great year. He's from SoCal. I don't know. It just seems to be like I've accepted that as it happened at this point. Detroit's not in it. Cash in some chips. Whatever you want, and Jack Flaherty's a Dodger.
Yeah.
Do you need to say more to it?
No, but I'm thinking he rebounded well. He didn't do that well with the Orioles. He came and he went to Detroit. He straightened himself out. When he was with the Cardinals, he was their number 1. Mm-hmm. And then he got his shoulder got hurt and everything else. He made rebound. So good for him to come back and be great to play for a team that's going to the playoffs. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's one. What number are you at now? Is that 4 or 5?
I have
for you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
I have 5 more to go.
Then I'll go again. I guess. All right. Cool. I'll stay with the Dodgers. This was it right before our podcast. I had this guy going to a different team. I switched back. We got a reunion tour. I'm 51-49 on his split, But Justin Turner is coming back to the Red Sox or the Dodgers, but I have him coming back to the Dodgers. Kind of retiring the team that made him. Maybe he gets to run out there one last time and not have COVID and win the World Series. But I have Justin Turner being that third base when needed or DH piece for the Dodgers, homecoming type of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice little story.
And again, Blue Jays should be sellers. Accept your fate. Justin Turner will not cost a whole bunch, and
No.
Kike Hernandez has not been that utility guy this year. He's been a really bad player, actually.
Great for the clubhouse.
He is. He's silly and fun. Back to you, Dad.
I got a few things for the Yankees. Isaac Paredes, Tampa Bay.
Let's tear up the Rays.
Going to the Yankees solves a third base problem. So I think,
That's
again,
a scary team all of a sudden.
so all of a sudden he's, a little bit of a pull hitter. And, again, great for Yankee Stadium and a very good third baseman. So I think he'd be a great addition.
Getting back to Bellinger going to the Yankees, as a Cubs fan, do you want/think Jason Dominguez is in that package?
No.
Okay, wow. So they're going to get both these guys without giving up Jason Dominguez. That's impressive.
That's probably they want to save him because he's the crown jewel.
But then I don't know who else is in their team.
I think with Cody, and don't forget his contract is kind of weird. He could have to opt out. He's not going to bring that much in return. I think they're going to get 2 or 3 AA guys with a future, and that's who they're going to get. They're not going to get front line for Cody.
Interesting. I think the Astros would give up more in that regard. I really assume Jason Dominguez.
Well, Jed hasn't done a great job.
You're right. You're right. Okay, that's. Boy, oh boy, do Yankees fans love you right now. Just to balance out your...
We have some bobbleheads.
We have Brett Gardner's.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody who wants one, let us know.
Message me. I will ship you a bobblehead.
That's right.
Just to balance out the Yankee fans, I don't have any of my top 10 picks going to you. That doesn't mean I don't think you're going to be a buyer. I've said you're going to be a buyer. I just don't know who the hell you're going to get. The 2 predictions my dad has made, I don't agree with. I can see both happening, but I wasn't at his level of confidence where I would say that they're going to buy either one of those people. I will do my Red Sox prediction. I'm big on the reunions. The Red Sox need that third starter that they can give the ball to in the playoff games. And when you think of Red Sox playoff baseball, and you're like, think about it, who do I give the ball to? It's Nate Eovaldi. Nathan Eovaldi, Nate Dogg, coming back to Boston. I have the Rangers being completely just disheveled. And the Red Sox get a piece. So many people get a piece of Texas. But I have a true rental going to Boston. Don't know how much years Nate has in him, but he's having a great year. I think he'll keep pitching. And the Red Sox will take 2 months of his services.
And it'll be a parade in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those guys will be a Red Sox. Turner or Eovaldi again.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's not either edition of those. It's not sending the oh my god the Red Sox are going to try to overtake the Yankees, but it does help ticket sales. It helps. It helps energy in Beantown. It could be enough to get that team that final wild card. They're not trying to win 90 games. But that's who I have. I felt really fun saying Eovaldi to the Red Sox.
Yeah. You can tell in your voice. You were excited.
Thank you.
Speaking of Boston, I'm going to follow up to Boston. I have Drew Smiley going to Boston in a package deal with Jameson Taillon. And the Red Sox have a AA catcher. His last name is Teal, from University of Virginia.
Take him.
That's part of the package that's coming back, but they'll have a package deal. Drew and Jameson for probably 3 players from Boston. But they have to include a really good catcher because that's a weakness of the Cubs.
Sure.
I think that's going to happen.
Take him.
I think you are having it within 72 hours.
I would have traded Blake Swihart if I had to go back in time and do it all over again. I love that guy, and he amounted to nothing.
Yeah.
I do my next pick, Dad, I would love to get, obviously, Drew Smiley's having a good year. Here's the top 30 prospects for the Yankees. Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones are their top 2, and that's a drop-off. As a Cubs fan, I'm kind of curious who you'd go for, and then I'm going to do my next pick. I have a Royal shirt on. Ben Zobrist is on the back. Favorite Royal, I know he's only there for a trade deadline. A big reason why I was wearing the shirt. But I thought it'd be rude to wear this shirt for 2 podcasts and not say confidently that the Royals are going to get somebody. Dad, the Royals already got Hunter Harvey. I know they're going to get more in their bullpen. Dad, do you remember when about a decade ago that the Royals had the best bullpen in baseball?
Yes.
Kelvin Herrera, Greg Holland.
Oh, they had an attitude.
Mason Miller is coming to Kansas City. They are going to create this dominant back end of the bullpen again. It's going to be a 10-year turnover. Mason Miller, there's that, like, Kansas City Athletics, Oakland Athletics, I don't know what's going on here, but let's have fun with it. Royals, Mason Miller is getting out of Oakland and getting into a city, at least a stadium. I won't shit on Oakland, but a stadium that is much better. And more fans. I won't say better, but more fans.
Yeah, to answer your question, the Cubs have just nobody as a left-handed pitcher. There's a couple left-handed pitchers, Lalane and Selvage, I think would be a great part of that. And then there's Chase Hampton. I think I like because they're almost ready for the majors. Those three, and I like very much.
I guarantee you Yankee fans would have no issue getting rid of those players for Cody Bellinger. Because they have a pretty full rotation as is. So.
Yeah, but don't forget, Cody can opt out at the end of the year.
I know, but I know my Yankee fans, my Yankee friends, they haven't had a World Series, been in one or had one in 15 years. And you're telling me that 3 pitching prospects could land Cody Bellinger even for 2 months? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Cubs they have shortages at catching and left-handed pitching. Along the way, you look at fits and what you can bring in return.
Sure.
That's what I'm thinking.
Kyle Carr. Sorry. I like to look at these people and be like, who's going to go?
Yeah.
Who has cool names.
Well, the Yankees have such a pipeline to the Dominican. A lot of players come out of the I mean, they really are good players, so they might tap into that too.
Sure. We have 3 more predictions to share with the people, Dad, and then the wild card.
Okay.
Wild card.
Okay. My turn?
Yeah, I think you're at number 8.
Yes. I'm going with a little blockbuster. The Orioles get Tarek Skubal from Detroit.
Tarek Skubal.
They're going to have to pay dearly for him because he's probably the number 1 pitcher that's out there. Left-handed power pitcher, having a good year. The Orioles will grab him.
What's the package? I'm curious.
I'm thinking at least 3.
Who? I know names.
You know,
we know local Baltimore sports.
They have a catcher,
Samuel Basallo.
Yeah, that I think will be one of them.
Okay.
I would think probably at least one of the outfielders, Kurtzstead or Stowers, one of those 2, and probably along the way, probably another position player,
Judd
maybe
Fabian.
maybe Norby.
Okay. Wow.
They got thin herd.
I agree. I don't think that's enough to get Skubal.
But I think of all the trades that the Orioles are thinking of, they seem to have their sights set on Tarek.
I agree. I don't think the Orioles give up Detroit's asking price. Skubal's a 1-1. They want a 1-1 in return. They want a Jackson Holiday swap.
Well, I'm thinking, but you know what? If you're ever going to trade Holiday, now might be the time.
Now, here's the thing. Detroit, I don't think Jackson Holiday gets traded. I don't think the Orioles get Skubal. I think Skubal gets kept by Detroit. I think
for the future.
I think they compete next year.
Okay.
They don't have they're not having a bad year right now. They have too much money locked up in Baez, and Spencer Torkelson had a bad year. I mean, he had 30-some home runs last year.
Never had a good year.
He had a good year last year.
Okay.
He had 30-some home runs last year, and then this year 4, and then got sent down. So not good. With that said, I think they keep all non-rentals. Anyone with team control left, Detroit keeps Skubal, but they'll trade Flaherty and that kind of stuff. They would have to see Jackson Holiday as a shortstop because Colt Keith is their big prospect at second base. I personally don't see Jackson Holiday as a shortstop. I see him as a second baseman. So I almost think it's like a scouting report on do you value Jackson Holiday more than we value him?
He's kind of blocked with Gunnar. Unless they switch him to second base.
I think Gunnar is bigger and better at short than... Yeah, so anyways... Going off that, Dad, I do think the Orioles pivot after Skubal talks sour. No, sour. Because Stowers is going to be in the package to the White Sox with Judd Fabian for Garrett Crochet. And I'm thinking not Basayo, but the guy that they just called up. I mean, literally an hour before our podcast, Chase McDermott.
He's a good pitcher.
Just got called up,
Yep.
and I 100% think it's a showcase for the White Sox or for somebody.
Okay.
But a pitcher and 2 outfielders to the south side for Crochet, and I think that's all they get out of the White Sox. I don't think they add more to that package. Again, I have the White Sox dealing with Philly.
Okay.
But Crochet to Baltimore. And just to piss off Orioles fans more, I don't think that's a great trade. Crochet has never pitched this many innings before. He's been a reliever, not this far along of a starter.
And he had arm injury not too long ago.
I think there's better arms on the market. However, I am confident in my prediction because the Orioles aren't experienced in the trade deadline aspect, and I think they might feel a little panicked and get someone that's a name versus kind of like a Kyle Gibson that's going to not give you 7 shut piece, but that's going to give you 5 every single time. But Garrett Crochet to the Orioles have to make some move for a pitcher, and I think the newness of being a buyer, inexperience buying multiple pieces, I think they panic, they might overpay, and Crochet is kind of in that world.
Okay. Next one, again, another Yankee trade because they're desperate. Mark Leiter from the Cubs to the Yankees could be in the Cody Bellinger trade. Big old package deal. I think he goes to the Yankees. He would be a great fit for middle relief.
Are the Cubs farm systems for Boston and New York? Because half his picks, guys, have been those teams. And
I know.
Cubs.
I just think, one, the familiarity of the Boston GM with the Cubs, farm system and all that. The Cubs really need their AAA team's not so great. AA team's okay. Next year, if they're going to go, they need some young talent. And they need some offense. So right now, the Cubs really are hurting offensively. They need some players with power. I think that's what they go after. Power hitting outfielders.
I just tried to tell you that with the Yankees, and you're like, no, let me give you lefty-handed pitchers.
Well, they have they don't have hardly any left-handed pitching. So when I saw that list, I had an outfielder in there.
Who? You didn't say Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez.
No, the third guy.
You said another pitcher.
No.
You pointed to
Okay. Number 3.
Chase Hampton.
He's a pitcher?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I like him.
There's still no outfielders.
They'll get him from somewhere else.
Oh, my God. For Boston, we're keeping all our young outfielders.
No. They'll have a catcher from Boston. Teal.
Then who the hell is being their outfielders? You keep talking about these young outfielders. You didn't acquire one.
Well, they will because there's more trades, but it's not in my top 10.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. If you're not getting an outfielder for Bellinger, I think you made a mistake. I think someone, and anyways, Houston has that.
Okay.
I have the Central. I don't think I've talked about the NL Central yet. I've talked about AL Central. Let's talk NL Central. I'm hitting on all the divisions. That was my goal. With Christian Yelich's injury, perceived injury, possible injury, the Brewers need a stable outfielder that's kind of like Christian. He's not too old. He's not young. You know who's not too old but not young? That kind of needs some time. That needs a place to thrive. Lane Thomas. Lane Train is coming to Milwaukee.
That's a great idea.
I think they can work out a trade really well. He's not in the long-term plans for Washington. I think because of Christian's injury, they're not going to go for like the Lou Bobs. They're still Milwaukee. They're not paying these high prices. Lane Thomas is controllable through next year too. He can be that. They'll find that they're going to lose their DH to free agency. So Lane Thomas could be the DH. Yelich could be a DH as he possibly heals from this back surgery. Sal Frelick could bounce around the outfield. Jackson Chourio should bounce around the outfield. There's a lot there, and I think one thing they know about the Brewers, they like depth and they like people that can move around. So I got Lane Thomas being there for multiple years, year and a half. But yeah,
very nice. My last pick goes to the Orioles. Tanner Scott will be coming to the Orioles to help that bullpen.
I've heard that rumor. I think it makes a lot of sense. Since you have everyone else going to Boston or the Yankees, why not throw the Orioles a bone and get Tanner Scott? Reunion. My last pick, Dad, before the wild card, I hinted earlier at the last podcast that Milwaukee's getting into a lot of bench clearing brawls. They got a feisty manager. They want a feisty player, and there's no feistier fighter in baseball. Sometimes he thinks it's boxing. It's Tommy Pham. He's coming to Milwaukee. And again,
just don't bet.
Just a rental piece. You don't get in his fantasy football league.
Yeah.
Just as a rental, again, I think that is DH some days, outfield some days, kind of do what he does when he gets traded, to be honest. He's having a great year. The Brewers need kind of Lane's and Pham's pop. Neither of those guys are, the 30 home run hitter, power, obscene, 99 percentile. But they can hit, they can slap, and if you have a bunch of those kind of players that can hit you 15, 20 home runs a year, that's kind of the Brewers. And I think those are going to be enough to kind of get the Brewers solidified as first place in the Central. Dad, I want to hear your crazy wild card, react just ungodly to it. What is your Hail Mary, half-court shot?
Vad Guerrero to the Astros.
I don't give a shit what you just did to New York. Houston's the scarier team if that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's on the market.
Vladimir Guerrero is better than Bellinger. He's more consistent, developed, he's younger, he's controllable.
Yeah.
Yankee fans were so happy with you. They were like, oh, we love Kevin. He's the best. Look at all these guys. He's literally, he must be a fan. And then your wild card.
Yeah. What do you think of that? How do you like me now?
I would say it's more likely than mine. Jazz Chisholm to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Whoa.
Andrew McCutchen levels him out. He's got senior leadership. Brian Reynolds shows him the way. And he kind of he keeps some of his personality.
Yeah.
But he can be their center fielder. I actually like him being their second baseman. I think Jazz is better at second base.
Yeah, that's a hell of an infield then.
I know.
Very good
I know.
infield.
Then you have a very controllable infield of O'Neal Cruz, Key Brian Hayes, and now Jazz Chisholm.
Wow. Athletic.
Very athletic.
Run.
Very athletic.
I like the Pirates right now. I think they're a fun team.
I think they're a fun team, too.
They drafted well.
And again, I didn't have them in the top 10. I think they will be buyers. I don't know what the hell they're going to buy because I haven't seen the Pirates be a buyer in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So why not throw something at the Miami Marlins? And I think they want to get rid of Jazz. I know he's not the best clubhouse guy.
Miami has no idea what they're doing.
No. Nor does the White Sox. So Jazz, I think, gets new scenery. Pittsburgh was my wild horse, dark horse type of thing. So yeah, I'll make a half-court shot for Jazz to the Pittsburgh Pirates. That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Got that old in Houston? Man. Huh?
Yeah, it's
You can pop out of there or what? That choo-choo train will be going back and forth.
it's a lethal lineup. Out of our respective choices, which one I'm gonna look at your list, you're gonna look at mine. What do you like the most out of my top 10 picks, and then what do I like the most out of yours? What do I think is the most likely?
I like your Lou Bob pick.
Oh, you do? Okay,
yeah,
that's kind of you. Okay.
Yeah.
I like your logic, but obviously I can't just say your pick because we invalidate each other. I think Tanner Scott to the Orioles is probably the most logical pick. There makes a lot of sense. Wouldn't cost a lot. Again, Miami doesn't know what they're doing, so they'll probably accept. I don't know. I keep saying Judd Fabian, but someone less than Judd Fabian. Some number 29 on their top 30 prospect list that no one knows who exist. And some Oriole fan will be like, I gave up too much. You don't know who that guy was.
Got a guy named Horvath, came from North Carolina. He'd be a good trade chip.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. Miami won't. Yeah, I think trade with Miami because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That 34 minutes right there, guys. Definitely quicker than what we've normally done in the past. I hope you liked it.
I liked it.
Thanks, Dad. I liked it too.
Yeah.
It felt quicker than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Hope you like our analysis. I hope we get some right. I hope in a week we can say
some right.
I really do. I mean, I hope we get some more than one right.
Oh my God.
I hope we don't just get points for we called him being traded. No duh.
Yeah.
Really, you don't think Justin Turner's going to be traded? 39 years old on a 1-year contract. But yeah, so I hope we get some right that we can kind of be proud of. I hope one of our wild card comes true.
Mm-hmm.
Good God Almighty, do the Yankees not want yours to come true? no one really matters with mine. People are going to be happy probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be really fun to watch. I'm glad that we kind of came up with a blockbuster, out of this world type of trade for the wild card. And we hope you enjoyed it too. Dad, do you have anything to say to the people?
You know what? It was fun. Thank you, Patrick, for letting me do this. It was a great pleasure. It's great to talk about baseball, and I love the deadline day. I think it's one of the great days in baseball for the year. I hope it's a very active day, and I hope it starts at noon and keeps going to 6.
It's going to be a fun day. I'm very much looking forward to it. If you are on MLB Trade Rumors like we are, if you're on Twitter like I am, it just seems that as soon as you refresh something, another trade has happened. And it's awesome that they do this. It's also so, agitating because they'll be like, Tanner Scott to the Orioles, more to come. You're like, I want to see what they gave up. So, again,
yeah, you're right.
Feel free to interact with us. Feel free to chat with us either on our socials, again, at Pastime Podcast _ on Twitter, Instagram, and we're the Father and Son Pastime Podcast on Facebook. Hit us up anytime that day. We'll respond when we can. And it really, I don't know what the time is. I want to say it's always 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. Right. But being a day earlier this year could matter a lot.
I think the activity starts around 3 and just builds. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Enjoy it. I hope your team makes the right moves. That's a super political answer, right? Whether that's to buy or to sell. And if you watched all this, why aren't you subscribed? Give us that subscribe. And thanks for watching. My dad and I appreciate it.
Yes, very much. And have a safe week.